Scammers are now using more often real business domains to rip you off and hack you. That is one hack I'm going to tell you about, and I have another 2 hacks also that you must know for 2025 that are spreading like wildfire. So let's get to this first one about business domains. It's happening a lot with PayPal. Obviously, millions of Americans use PayPal. Heck, I use PayPal myself. So what is this scam that you need to be aware of? Well, hackers are obviously getting more clever every single day, and they are going into certain accounts and sending people a gift. So you get an email that says, hey, you were getting this gift, but there's some error, something's messed up. You need to call us to claim this gift, and you need to do all this stuff, right? Here's the scary thing. It comes from service@paypal.com. So if you look at it, it's not like it comes from like service@the-paypal-.com, one of those ridiculous looking domain names. It actually comes from PayPal's domain name. So these hackers are able to spoof the actual domain. So when you see it and you're like, well, wait a minute, I was supposed to get this. What the heck's going on? And they want you to call a number, of course. They want you to fill out some information. Well, most people trust PayPal. Most people see it, service@paypal.com. They quickly fill this out because they're like, hey, curiosity, I want this gift, or I want this $1,000 that somebody sent me, or whatever. Remember, if it sounds too good to be true, it probably is, but a lot of people are falling for this. And of course, it only takes a small percentage. When they send this out to hundreds of thousands of people, if 1% do it, that's a lot of people they rip off. So if you get something from PayPal and it's like, hey, you got a gift, or hey, there's something wrong with your account, do not click on the email, do not start filling out information, do not even call the 800 number that they give you in there. You go search it on Google and find out PayPal's real number, because guess what? It ain't gonna match. So do not trust these emails, because this is happening more and more often. Same thing for any business. It's happening more, yes, with PayPal, but it's happening to other companies too, like American Express, big credit card companies. It happened to me where I got one from American Express. I didn't click on it, I didn't call the number on it. I took out my American Express card, I called the back of the number and found out, again, nothing was going on. Everything was well. So be careful, of business domains getting spoofed. Okay, that is hack number 1, business domains getting spoofed, the PayPal hack. All right, what is hack number 2? Well, hack number 2 involves the worst thing in the world, which I think are toll roads. So I have a lot of customers in Dallas, Texas. I spend a lot of time for business in Dallas, Texas. I love Dallas, Texas. I do not like toll roads, but there's toll roads everywhere. And of course, half the time I'm just going through the toll road and I get one of those things in the mail that I owe tolls, right? It happens. But what hackers are now doing is they are sending texts out that said, hey, you have an unpaid toll. You're in big trouble. You're gonna get your license suspended. You're gonna get, you're gonna be owing a ton of fine, yada, 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 right? Well, guess what? They can figure out, because they can obviously geofence and see what numbers and who lives in Dallas, Texas, or wherever in tolls, on the, the Pennsylvania Turnpike. A lot of tolls in this country. Anyway, fortunately not where I live, but they can see that, and so they can send out these text messages to people, and people will say, well, wait a minute, shoot, did I really do that? Oh, it's only $5 or it's only $20. I'll just pay it. Well, it's a fake. They have your information, so not only do they make money off the fake toll, but now they have your credit card information, they go on a spending spree. Just like I said about hack number 1 involving PayPal, they send these out to hundreds of thousands of people all over the United States. They only have to get a tiny percentage to make a lot of money. Plus, if you end up putting your information in for this fake toll, now they have your credit card info, now you have to go cancel your credit cards, now they have personal information about you, and it becomes a big headache. So if you ever get a text or an email about a toll, again, go to Google, go to DuckDuckGo, go to whatever search engine you use, search the real toll authority name, and find out if there's anything going on. And vast majority of the time, there probably isn't. Okay, and before we get to the next scam, I want to talk about the sponsor of this video, who I personally use, Delete Me. In today's world, your personal info, like your name, your address, or even your phone number, is floating around online, whether you like it or not. But leaving it out there for scammers, stalkers, or identity thieves to stash up, that's obviously not a good idea, not a risk I'm willing to take, and you shouldn't either. That's why I trust today's sponsor, Delete Me. It's a very simple, no-hassle way to scrub my personal data off the web and keep it off. And if you're about staying ahead of scammers and not getting ripped off like I am, I know that Delete Me is the kind of backup you need. They check back every 3 months to make sure your data doesn't creep back up, and they send you a report showing you what they've zapped and where it was hiding. Plus, they've got some, this is another thing you're gonna like, they've got some cool email and phone masking tools, so you can use a temporary throwaway contact info, like a phone number or email, for your online stuff, so that your real details are never exposed. So it's throwing scammers off your trail where you can disappear from them, which is obviously a good thing. So I definitely recommend Delete Me to anyone who is 18 years or older and who values your privacy like I do. And because I want to hook you up, here's a good deal. Head to joindeleteme.com/Hanson and use code Hanson to get 20% off your Delete Me privacy plan. All right, and now back to scam number 3. This is the Shopify scam, but guess what? It's happening to all kind of e-commerce. We've all gone searching on a website, right? And maybe you look at something, I do it all the time, I'm looking at gear, all kind of gear, and it says, hey, you peaked at this or whatever, but we also show you bought this, 2 days ago. And you're like, wait a minute, I did peak at that tactical backpack, but I didn't buy that knife, or I didn't buy that thing. And it says, to make sure that your order's okay, we need you to click here, we're having trouble with your tactical backpack order, your knife order, and again, you're like, crap, I was looking at that website, I was looking at that backpack, but I didn't order that knife, or I didn't order whatever. And so you see, you know, if you have any problems, if there's any, you know, we weren't able to process this, just click here. It is such a good scam, and it works so well, and again, shows how smart the scammers are getting, because if they're able to take over a company's information and hack a lot of these small businesses, then they can obviously see what you're doing, and they can see, hey, I looked at this, I didn't buy this, I want to quickly call this 800 number. I want to call this information. Of course, when you call the 800 number, they're going to do things like, well, verify the credit card you use, or, you know, tell us more information about yourself, or click this link here, which infects your computer. So just remember, and I've said it many times and I'll say it again, if you get something which is suspicious, which says, hey, you just bought this knife, or you bought this whatever, and you really didn't buy it, do not click on that email. Go Google the actual company, and they'll probably tell you like, hey, no, that's a spoof, that never happened. So you've got to be ultra careful these days. Criminals are smart, they're only getting smarter, which is why I get a ton of emails these days, and if anything looks suspicious at all, or if it says I ordered something that I didn't order, or FedEx, for instance, I'll get these FedEx things like, hey, there's a problem with your FedEx shipment. Well, I do order a lot of stuff, but I look at it and I was like, okay, you know, I didn't order a FedEx shipment coming from Tampa, Florida, or even if it looks like something that may be legit, I'm still calling FedEx and not clicking in that email. Okay, there are 3 scams. Be careful, think twice. If it smells too good to be true, sounds too good to be true, it probably is. Okay, I'm former CI Officer Jason Hanson. I want you to stay safe. I want you to protect your privacy. I do it for my wife and 7 kids. You gotta be vigilant, so beware of these 3 scams, and God bless you.